Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Dew Point once again. Thank you for taking time out of your Saturday mornings to come listen to me. We're going to be doing training this morning, and I welcome everyone who would be listening to us on the live stream on YouTube, wherever they might be in the country or the world. So, does anyone remember what we're discussing this morning? Or do you just know it's training and you arrive? Channel building. Exactly. Fundamentals of channel building. So this is a particularly exciting dev seminar because it relates to the softer issues around your involvement as wealth engineers with Dew Point. The other dev seminars are probably easier to understand because they relate to the hard facts like the products, returns and rewards, how to use the website, those type of things. But fundamentals of channel building discusses those softer issues, perhaps the issues that we're a little more nervous about. Speaking to people, right? Not selling, but speaking to people about the Dew Point opportunity. So I'm going to be going through that today, and hopefully after an hour this morning, you'll be a lot wiser and more confident in your approach in channel building. So let's remind ourselves what channel building is. So you would have known in the intro presentation, we discussed this a little bit. Channel building begins with you. And you guys go out as wealth engineers and you speak to other people about the Dew Point opportunity, just as the Dew Point opportunity was extended to you sometime in the past. And when you're successful in that endeavor, you start to build your channel. Those are 5 individuals that you've added to your channel. And these are typically people that you know firsthand. And they've decided to join Dew Point, and we've successfully placed a product with them. And you would be earning 55 Rand for every product. And these individuals lie in your first point. Now, the beauty of Dew Point is that you earn off the people that then join from the people that you added to Dew Point in the first place. That is your second point. And again, you're now earning 55 Rand off of every individual every single month going forward, right? So this is the beginning of your channel. And so it goes to the third point, the fourth point, and so on. And your channel has now started developing over time. You can see that you'll have individuals sitting on your 8th point that you obviously wouldn't know. You can see the power of duplication that is happening here. So the fundamentals of channel building discusses 3 things. There's personal activity, quality, and growth. These 3 core behaviors form the basis of becoming an effective wealth engineer. Our entire XP program has been built off of these 3 core behaviors. So if you go through all the XP quests, you'll start to notice that they relate to these core behaviors. Personal activity, good quality individuals being placed in your channel, and those 2 in turn create that growth that you want. Because the growth creates the duplication in your channel, and it creates that recurring income that we're after. So we're going to be discussing these 3 core behaviors throughout the presentation in more depth. We're going to start off with a question. So you should all, well, not all of you, but most of you should have a little control pad. Some of you might know how to use this already. We're going to warm you up on a question before we get going. So let's quickly go over how these little response cards work. Brendan says, just keep clicking. Right. So when we ask a question, you'll see the question will come up on the slide, and it'll have a little green button that says polling open. That means the little keypad is ready for you guys to put your answers in. You can change your answer when the polling is open too. So you answer and you can change your answer. That's the keypad there. You just click the corresponding button in relation to what you think the answer is. Whatever you've answered will come up in the little LCD display, right? And a little green button will then flash, meaning that our system has captured your answer. The polling will then close after a limited time. So we've actually increased the time to 30 seconds per question. So you've got about 30 seconds to answer the question. The green will turn to red. That means polling is closed. You cannot answer the question. You cannot change your answer when the button is, or the little block has become red. The channel button down here in the left corner, don't press that, because that's going to disconnect you from the system. And then, as Brendan says, you can't use these pads as DSTV controllers. You can't open and close your garage at home. You can't use it as a TV remote. They're absolutely useless outside of these presentation rooms. So remember to drop them off with Bridget at reception on your way out. Alrighty, are you ready? Okay, I looked at the last dev seminar. Remember, I was away in Thailand. I gave you a little video insert if you had seen the dev seminar online, and everyone got 100% for the next question, so no pressure on this group. What are the 3 core behaviors of every successful wealth engineer? Oh, I clicked a bit too quickly there. Alrighty, so the answer is C, personal activity, growth, and quality. Okay, so let's get into these topics. Personal activity. So personal activity, what is personal activity? It's not just activity, it's personal activity. I think everyone that joins Dewpoint, new wealth engineers, you're all enthusiastic about going out there and starting to build your channels and starting to change your future. And often that enthusiasm comes up with all kinds of ingenuity as to how you're going to be building your channels as quickly as possible. And often that leads to wanting to take shortcuts, right? And a lot of us are also fairly adverse to conversing with people about the topic of joining Dewpoint, or network marketing, as some people might call it. And that makes a lot of us nervous. And so the shortcuts often lead to non-personal activity, right? You might want to start conversing with people rather over social media platforms. That's not personal activity. So when we talk about personal activity and the personal introduction, the key word here is personal, right? You need to converse in a real-world manner with the people that you want to tell about Dewpoint. You don't want to do it remotely through your phone or on the computer. That's never going to work, guys. So we start with a personal introduction, and that has to happen from a personal point of view. When we talk about the activity, we all know that without any activity, there's not going to be any growth in your channel. So you have to start becoming consistent and persistent in terms of the amount of time, the effort, the thought that you put in when you go out there and start to build your channels, right? And first and foremost, you need to have a goal. So does everyone have a goal this morning? Do you have a goal? It could be 6 months' time, a year's time. And a goal is not a goal without a time frame. So if you have a goal, you need to have a time frame attached to that goal. So it might be something a year down the line. It might be 2 years down the line. You might have a 5-year goal. But if you don't have a goal, I want you to go out after the presentation, whether it's this afternoon after the rugby, preferably before the rugby, because rugby might be a bit depressing later on. So maybe before the rugby, make sure that you have that goal in mind. Write it down. Put a date on it, right? Because without that goal, you're really headed nowhere. Okay. And that is going to push you with regards to consistency and persistency. In the intro presentations, I often say to everyone that's new to Dewpoint, I say sometimes the hardest thing is the simplest thing. You know, we talk about that 3+2 growth model, which seems fairly simple. You know, only adding additional 2 people every month. It sounds simple, but often what happens is people rush out the gates and they don't get the 1,000 people that they were hoping to get through all the shortcuts they had imagined in the first month, and then they become despondent. And that's not the way we want you guys to grow. We want you to be consistent, only 2 people every month. Obviously, you can do more than that, But just with that persistency and that consistency, you will start to see the growth happening, right? And then you can get into the pattern and start to regulate yourselves and have expectation of what you need to do every month or every week going forward. The XP quests, 70% of the XP quests are related to personal activity. So Brendan imagines that you guys all know your XP quests off by heart, right? Which probably isn't the case. But if you go look at the XP quests and you look at it from the point of view of today's dev seminar, you'll notice that they're all based around those core behaviors that we're going to be talking about. And the majority of them focus on personal activity. So if you go take a closer look, you will see that they're all related to the personal activity. So this is probably one of the most fundamental core behaviors in terms of building your channel. So let's talk about the personal introduction. It begins with a list. Now we've spoken about a goal, having set yourselves goals. This is the first task in reaching that goal, is creating a list. Now what is a list? A list is a whole bunch of names that you put together of people that you're going to be contacting that week, that month, regardless of the time. That's something for you to set, but you need to have that list. That list can never run empty, right? So you need to make that list. It is the first task in reaching that goal that you've set for yourselves. So it's a fundamental item in personal introductions. So you'll start out by perhaps adding family to the list, friends, acquaintances, colleagues at work, and you'll have a fairly large list when you first start out. But you might be thinking, well, geez, the list is going to run out after a couple of months. Now what do? You are going to have to add people there that you don't know. And we meet people every day. You're always meeting people, right? But perhaps you're a little scared in approaching them. So we'll be discussing that a little bit later too. So the list is fundamental. It's the first thing that you have to have in reaching that goal. It also serves as a mini goal. So if you've got a list, let's say of 100 people, you get to task yourself with the goal of going through a certain amount of people every day or every week. So now when you go forward, you know that every day you need to contact perhaps 2 or 5 or 10 people each day. And if you're not doing that, then you know you're not any closer to your goal. So the list is fundamental in reaching that goal in the first place. Personal activity. What is personal activity? Face to face. You can contact these people, but ultimately you're going to have to converse with them face to face. It's frightening, I know. Eh? Speaking to family face to face, or friends about this business opportunity you have for them. But it is key to converting people and getting them to join DewPoint. So the face-to-face aspect really has to come somewhere once you've spoken to them. So if you converse with anyone over social media, or whether you phone them, the next step is to sit down with them or bring them to an intro presentation so that you're face-to-face with them. Order of ascent. What is order of ascent? That list that you have, you want to break that list down into an order of ascent, especially when you're a new wealth engineer. This is how you're going to tackle your list. You're going to place your family at the top of the list. They are the people that are going to tell you, what are you smoking? What scheme have you gotten involved in now? And they just give you an outright no, right? Your family is the part of the list you're going to practice on before you get to your friends. Because you won't take it too personally from family, because they've been putting you down since you were 2 years old. Hey? So it's not the worst thing, getting a no from family. You're going to practice on them. I don't know if any of you have heard of a man called Jim Frohn. He is an awesome speaker. He's actually passed away, and he's been speaking about business principles for a very long time. You should look him up if you have the chance. And he talks about having this list and approaching people. And he has got a great attitude towards going through the list, speaking to people face to face. He says the moment you start addressing this list and you start contacting people, what starts to happen is a ratio appears, right? The problem with us is that we take the list very personally. When your friends tell you no, you take it really personally. Jim Frohn has got a completely different perspective on this. When he starts to contact the list, he says when you start getting through the first 10 or 20 people, what happens is a ratio develops, and it's a fairly consistent ratio. So what might happen with you is you contact 10 people and you get 1 yes, right? That's the beginning of a ratio. In digital marketing, the world I'm from, we call that a conversion rate. Our conversion rate would then be 10%. You're getting 1 out of 10, it's a 10% conversion ratio. So then you speak to the next 10 and you get a second person. That's the ratio, still working for you. And when you start to get a little better, your conversion rate might start to improve. You might start to get 2 out of 10. Now you know you just need to speak to another 10 to get another 2. So when you speak to family or friends, you can tell them, just come to a presentation. I'm getting 2 out of 10. You can be the 8. It doesn't matter. I just need the 10 to get the 2, right? It changes our perspective on addressing the list and getting through this list and speaking to people. We don't need to take it so seriously. We don't need to take it so personally when we get turned down. They can be the 8. That's fine. I know I'm going to get the 2. I just need to see the 10 people. So that's a great principle to look at. So the order of ascent, you're going to put your family at the top. You're going to get lots of no's. That's fine. You're just beginning. You're practicing on family. That's what's family there for, to practice on. And then you're going to move on to your friends. So the next segment of your list is going to be friends, and you're going to go through the friends and a little more practicing. You're going to be a little more better, and perhaps your conversion rate is going to improve once you get onto this section. After that, you're going to move on to acquaintances and colleagues, right? So now you should be even better at your proposal, at explaining what the Dew Point opportunity is. You've practiced on your family, you've practiced on your friends. Perhaps your conversion rate when you start dealing with acquaintances and colleagues and people that you're just meeting day to day, your conversion rate might jump to 3 out of 10. So that's 30%. That's an awesome conversion rate. If you're getting 3 out of 10, you are doing extremely well. Maybe in 5 years' time you can hit 4 out of 10, but 3 out of 10 is really good. So be aware of what your conversion rate is, because it helps you focus less on the one person, the individuals that say no to you, and you just see them as a number now, right? And that's really what this is. It's a numbers game. It ties in with the consistency and persistency. If you know you just need to keep getting through those 10 to get the 2, that's all you're going to be doing every week. Just get through the 10 to get the 2. Alrighty. So how do we address the invite? So I've always said in the intro presentation, the Dew Point opportunity is not a hobby. If you see this as something that you're going to get in from a short-term point of view, you've got these expectations that you're going to become a millionaire in the next few months, right? Your perspective is completely wrong. You need to treat this as a serious business endeavor. This is a part-time business that you're involving yourself in, that you're going to be committing to. I always say, don't look at it short-term. You need to look at it long-term. So when you have that mindset and you go out and you invite people to come look at the Dew Point opportunity, you need to treat it like a business meeting, because that's what it is. It's not something you just discuss socially on the side of the braai at a friend's house. When people pose interest in something, you treat it as a business meeting. If they want to find out more, you set up time in the week for them to speak to you or to come see you, right? It immediately gives the Dew Point opportunity the weight that it deserves. Because what you're offering people is the opportunity to change their lives. Retirement when you're dependent on family members is not a pretty outlook, right? And an opportunity that is here to change that is a fairly serious opportunity. Can you imagine the moment when your part-time endeavor is paying you more than your full-time endeavor? It's not a hobby. It's not something that you just do on the weekends, right? So treat it like a business meeting and always do it verbally. If someone is trying to get business from me at Dewpoint, they phone the office. When you get some random email, it just ends up in the recycle bin, right? So do any of your conversing verbally, always. And if it starts out on some digital platform, make sure the next step is that you get that person's number and you call them so that you can speak to them directly. Don't try carry on explaining what Dewpoint is on a social media platform or over WhatsApp. It's never going to work. Avoid spur-of-the-moment social settings. So this is quite an amusing one, because this is what has given network marketing a really bad name. Who's ever arrived at a braai and someone whips out a little handheld projector and decides to give everyone a business presentation? Don't be that person. That is weird, right? You don't want to be that person. If someone poses interest in what you're doing part-time, you treat it like a business meeting, you do it verbally, set up an appointment with them. Do not ambush your friends and family at a social setting. It is not going to work, all right? Make appointments, so that ties in with the business meeting. Know your audience. You know, I can give you a lot of tips on how to do the invite, but it's going to change every time, because you need to be conversing with people, and everyone is different. Everyone has different needs. Some people might be really desperate to change their financial situation. You might have a 55-year-old who's 5 years away from retiring who doesn't have any savings. Your pitch to that person is going to be very different to a 21-year-old who just wants to get to retirement when they're 30, right? So know your audience. You can't do the same pitch to the same person over and over and over and over again. It doesn't work. And that's why when we say personal invitations, the personal aspect is about conversing authentically with the person that you're speaking to. You just don't blurt out the Dewpoint benefits directly to a person. You speak to them, you ask them questions. And when you ask someone questions, you get insight to what their needs are. And when you know what their needs are, you can then change your angle in terms of what Dewpoint can offer them. Right? So know your audience. Know your stuff. You guys are here at a development seminar, so you're halfway to knowing your stuff. As wealth engineers, you need to become experts on everything that is Dewpoint. So if you haven't watched all the dev seminars online, you need to do that. We've got about 10 training videos on the website at the moment. You need to know them back to front. You need to know how the returns and the rewards work. You need to know everything about the products. If you profess to know something about the business opportunity you're speaking to your friends and acquaintances about, and they ask you a simple question and you can't answer it, then that business opportunity that you're trying to extend loses all of its weight, right? So you need to know your stuff. Be confident. That kind of talks about knowing your stuff. Look people in the eye. Be proud about the business opportunity you're telling other people about, right? And if it's able to change their lives, be confident in that fact. So if I know this can change your life, I'm going to look you in the eye and be very confident about telling you, listen, I've got this thing that can help you. Come see me next week. Let me set up an appointment. I'll give you a call on Monday, and let's sit down and talk about it. So all of this speaks to the invitation, right? As I said, there's no single one angle that is going to be used for every person that you speak to. You need to adapt it to every person that you speak to. And speaking and asking questions is the key. Be authentic in your conversing with people, right? People are way more aware today than they were in the past. We see it in the financial services industry, where people are aware of what they should be getting, what their rights are. The internet has done that for people. So if you're not confident, they're going to see it in your eyes, and then they're not going to want to speak to you in future. Alrighty, so common mistakes made with regards to personal activity. And these are the shortcuts that I spoke about at the beginning, right? We all think, I've got 4,000 friends on Facebook, I'm going to sign all of them up by the end of the month. Or I've got this mate that works at a security company, he's got 40,000 employees, we're going to sign them all up. I'm going to put him there, and I'm going to put 40,000 below him, and I'm going to be a millionaire by the 6-month period. So, mass marketing. Mass marketing does not work. It goes against everything about that personal activity, about the authenticity in conversing with people that you want to bring into DewPoint, right? Adverts, and this is what we see. We'll suddenly get an email from somebody saying, oh, I saw an advert for DewPoint in the Tribute newspaper over the weekend. Much to everyone at DewPoint's absolute horror, because we are regulated by the Financial Services Board, by the FASE Act. You guys cannot place adverts on DewPoint's behalf, right? You are contravening first your code of conduct that you all agreed to, as well as the FASE Act. So we can be in a lot of trouble. So don't ever think of doing adverts or marketing on behalf of DewPoint. Social media is such a popular one. Everyone thinks social media is the panacea of reaching the masses, right? Social media is actually there for you just to connect with your friends. It is not a marketing tool to go reach the masses and convince them all to join DewPoint. SMS and email. Oh, I've got this friend, he used to be a financial advisor and he's got 5,000 cell phone numbers. We're going to SMS bomb these 5,000, and even if 1,000 sign up, guys, you are going to drag DewPoint's name through the mud if you do that, right? We are not into mass marketing here. This is a people's business, and it has to happen face to face. If you want to build a channel that is longevity, you need to do it with that consistency, that persistency that builds the channel where you know each of the people that you're putting into the business. I tell everyone at the intro presentations, when you decide to put someone onto your first point, this is someone potentially you're going to have to spend the next 20 years with. You don't want it to be some stranger that you sent a mass market SMS to. You don't know who you're going to be adding in, right? You need to choose these people carefully. And that's the mass signups. Every week we have someone that comes to us with a strategy around mass sign-up. My wife, she's got a good relationship with the unions on the mine. She can get the whole of AMCU to join DewPoint. It is not going to work. It is an admin nightmare, and it is going to fall flat after the first month. We've seen it happen. This is not just us surmising about what's going to happen. We've seen it happen because people have attempted it. It does not happen, and it doesn't work. Alrighty, so invite don'ts. This was me before I joined DewPoint. Social media. So we're going to discuss social media in more depth, but again, it goes, to a degree, it goes against what we speak about when we talk about authentic conversing with individuals. SMS and email, again, it's not face-to-face. It's not personal. You don't know what the needs of the person is that you're speaking to. Anywhere, anyhow style, promising the world. When you've got these guys that go out into social media and they create these DewPoint ads, put their wealth engineer number on the ad and their contact number, just go to the office and they'll sign you up, but make sure you use my wealth engineer number and there's free tea and coffee. And then they start making these crazy promises, right? That is desperate. This business is not about desperate. Like I said, people will pick up on that very quickly. In a blink of an eye, they can tell whether you're desperate. That's why we say confidence is so key when you're speaking to people, right? You don't want to seem desperate at all. Getting someone else to do it for you. I'm going to put Joseph Matunjwa in from AMCU on my first point. He's going to add the whole union beneath him. He's going to do all the work for me. I'm going to sit back. Guys, it does not work like that. There are no shortcuts in this business. And I tell you in the intro presentation as well, if you're going to become a wealth engineer for DewPoint, you have to pay the price for what the reward is. There are no shortcuts. If you're going to change your financial situation, if your part-time endeavor is going to start paying you more than what you're making full-time, there are no shortcuts. You have to put the time in. I understand we don't want to be here on a Saturday morning. We could be out getting ready for the rugby, buying Boerewors and another Bok jersey, maybe an Irish jersey. But we're here because we want to do something about our future, right? We're not here to take shortcuts. So these are the invite don'ts. Now this is a slide. Take a look at the slide carefully. And you're all very aware of what we do at DewPoint. We have taken a lot of time and consideration in creating this business and the brand. Who was not impressed when they walked into the offices? Right? We have taken a lot of time to separate ourselves from all these other business opportunities in South Africa. From the design and the marketing, from the facilities that we've put in place for our wealth engineers. The individuals, look, we've got the best looking models in the business to join DewPoint. I joke, but we've carefully put together a team that has abilities that make DewPoint great, right? So we've done all of this for our wealth engineers' sake, so that you guys can be more effective when you bring people to see DewPoint. When they step into this building, they can see this is a professional business with professional individuals involved, with a company like Constantia standing behind it. And then you go out onto social media and you put an ad like that. Can you see the problem? Guys, this does not work. Yes, the biggest tagline, free tea and coffee. Is that what DewPoint offers? So I'm going to take you through really bad examples of how to engage on social media. And this is happening, guys. We see it every day. Every day I get a report of social media posts that are going out, mainly on Facebook, that make me shudder, right? This is where design has gone to die. And you can see there's been zero engagement with the post. The post was put up in March. It's not got a single like. Doesn't have a share, doesn't have a comment on it. And it has dragged the DewPoint brand through the mud. An essay. Right? No likes, no comments, no shares. There's been zero engagement. The person that put this up has wasted their time. This is what we found recently. Someone sitting on the couch, perhaps lying in bed, decided to type up an invite and then paste it onto about 30 different business channels in Facebook. I'm only showing you 9 here. And again, zero engagement, absolute waste of time. Everyone that took the time to read this has thought, geez, who's this DewPoint bunch? Hey, it does not work. This is a shortcut trying to happen that has failed. Guys, this does not work. It is not authentic engagement. It's not face-to-face. You are not addressing the need of any person. So let's not look at these any longer. Let's take a look at some good examples. Okay. So this is something I posted onto my Facebook page, when was it? The beginning of February, as the offices were completed, just before our first ever intro presentation, and our beautiful signage had just gone up behind reception. And I put this up and got about 50 likes and about 10 comments, right? Can you see the difference? I'm not trying to pitch to anyone the DewPoint opportunity or the benefits. All I'm doing is sharing what's happening in my life. And look at the positive engagement that it's created. And I haven't dragged our brand through the mud, like on the previous examples. Social media is there for you guys to engage with people you know. That's what it's there for. Don't let it be anything else. It is not that. Facebook can do its advertising, which we all hate, right? Any advertising in any social media platform. It's a necessary evil, but we don't like it. We don't like to engage with it. I was involved in digital marketing. We used to put together advertising campaigns on digital media platforms for clients all the time, and trends would develop. In the old days, it used to be banner advertising. People do not click on banner advertising anymore. They hate it. Then it was Google AdWords, the little ads that pop up above your Google search results. The trend has gone down. People don't want to click on them anymore. So the new thing now is Facebook advertising, because it's fairly new. But for us and your friends, they do not want to see you guys trying to advertise to them. They will unfriend you, and then you won't be invited to the next braai. All right? Here's a picture Olympia, Brennan's wife, took at the first intro presentation. And look, all she said is exciting new beginnings. And look at the first comment. Please tell me more, Olympia. Kiss, kiss. That's the response you want, right? Not radio silence, like those poor examples we saw before. So these are great examples of engagement. And Olympia's got over 70 likes and plenty comments. This was my office as we finished the offices in the beginning of January. And again, new business, new office, new dreams. Nearly 125 likes. Lots of comments. And they do translate into opportunities. You just have to look for them. So these were the business cards. These aren't the business cards. These were just our staff business cards. Again, lots of engagement. So how does that translate into any benefit as a wealth engineer? Well, out of all of those comments that we got, there were a few individuals that said, what are you up to? And that is your opportunity to now engage with people you know, to tell them what DewPoint does. And you take it from there. You don't try force feed people the opportunity, because they might not be interested. Remember, it's just that numbers game. I just need the 8 no's so I can get the 2 yeses, right? Don't take it personally. It's just a numbers game. So yeah, I had a friend who was an ex-client of mine at Investec, and he posed interest. And we conversed. He showed more interest, and eventually he came past to see what DewPoint was all about. That is your opportunity to engage on social media. This is how it works, guys, not the other way around. Do not go out and start posting onto these business forums on Facebook, because it's going to end up in my inbox, and then I have to phone you. Alrighty. So yeah, a couple of examples that you could post up in future. So these are great milestones. This is right at the beginning. New part-time business, new dreams, right? Don't be desperate. I know you want to go out there and tell people what DewPoint's all about. Do not be desperate. They will come to you if they are interested. Part-time business paying me more than full-time. Awesome. Imagine when you can put that post out onto Facebook. When your part-time business is making you more than your full-time business. Isn't that an awesome story? Traveling business class to a 5-star resort for a week. For the whole family. You will get engagement, I promise you. You will have friends going, but I thought you got retrenched 3 months ago. Right? So some good examples of media posts. Just share what's going on in your life. You don't have to be desperate. You don't have to go out and force feed people the opportunity of DewPoint. So let's get on to our next question. Get your keypads ready. I'll try not pre-click once too early. What is the best way to introduce people to the DewPoint system? A personal invitation, an SMS, an email, social media broadcast, a newspaper article. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. I think Brendan would be crying right now. Fortunately, he's not watching this. At least the majority of us got it right. Guys, it's a personal invitation. An SMS, an email, social media, newspaper articles, that is not conversing face to face. That is just desperate shortcut mass marketing to try get somewhere faster, right? It's not going to work. It has to be the personal invitation. And it can start out on social media. It can start out with an SMS or WhatsApp, but it has to turn into a phone call, and that has to turn into a face-to-face meeting, right? Never try explain Dew Point over the phone. Don't. You can explain briefly what the opportunity is about, but make an appointment. Sit down with the person, look them in the eye, tell them what Dew Point can do for them. So 49% of you are wrong. Alrighty, the home meeting. So the home meeting is where we want you guys to get to eventually, with time, right? You've practiced on your family, you've practiced on your friends, you've gone through a whole bunch of acquaintances, you've burnt out a number of lists. You're now a Dew Point expert. You know everything about Dew Point. You guys do not need to now be reliant on these facilities anymore. We would be very happy for you guys to start doing the presentations at your house or at a coffee shop or at someone else's house. Or you can use these facilities, but it doesn't have to be in the evenings when we have our intro presentations, right? So you don't have to be reliant on us. We would be very happy and very supportive of you guys going out and doing your own home meetings. You get awarded XP for doing that. So if you go through the XP Quest, you'll see there are some that are related to doing home meetings yourselves. It is second only to personal introductions. Personal introduction is a one-on-one. A home meeting is typically two to a handful of people, right? You're now an expert on Dew Point, and this is great for your channel because they see you as a leader in the channel. When you're able to do your own meetings, when you're able to answer all the questions yourself, it is very motivating for your entire channel. And it'll be awesome when you have people on your first point that start doing the same thing. It is going to accelerate your growth. You don't need to wait for the intro presentation on the Monday evening or the Tuesday evening or the Thursday evening. You can do it in your own time when it suits your guests. You can start tailoring the home meetings for yourselves, right? So that's a point that we want you guys to get to. Intro presentations. Again, you're awarded XP points for all of the intro presentations that you attend. It links to the personal introductions and the home meetings. So once you do the home meeting, you probably still want to bring those individuals to Dew Point because this is your home. This is the wealth engineer's home. So even if they sign up in the home meeting, bring them to Dew Point. Bring them to an intro presentation. Allow them to meet myself, Brendan, the ladies, everyone who's involved in Dew Point, the other people, all of you guys, all the wealth engineers. Get them to have a taste of what this culture is about, right? All the wealth engineers should attend. So that's the same point. And then live streaming and the online videos are available. So you all know that we live stream all the events that we do. So if you're not in Johannesburg, the guys are free to look at the videos online or to tune in live to the intro presentations. Dev seminars. We're sitting in a dev seminar, right? This is you guys saying, yes, I want to learn more. Yes, I'm interested in personal development. You cannot get involved in a business like this if you are closed off to personal development. And it's an awesome thing. We should all be embracing personal development. And this is what the dev seminars are all about. Becoming an expert in Dew Point and becoming a better you. learning how to converse more effectively with other people, learning how to build your channels more effectively. Again, you get XP points, and it's critical for success. You are not going to get to that goal that you've envisioned if you do not engage with the development seminars that we do. And you're all aware we do them every second weekend, and they are all on the website, and you can tune into them when we're broadcasting live. So no excuses. And we address every aspect of DewPoint, the systems, the website, how it all works, the returns and the rewards, fundamentals of channel building, plugging into the system, the 3+2 growth model, right? We address all of those. And we are making new ones every month. So it's going to be a constant learning process. And then live streaming, and different every time. Online training videos. So if you're not in Johannesburg, that should not stop you. We live stream everything, all the videos. There's about 10 training videos at the moment that are available online. We've now started making short training videos, little snippets of these hour-long training sessions that we do on specific subjects. So go look. If you're not aware that there's short training videos online, they are. So get onto the website and go look for them. Some of them are 3 minutes long, some are 15 minutes long. But they're very specialized short snippets of very particular aspects of DewPoint that you can go look at. Ensure that the people that you've added to DewPoint, those people on your first point, are engaging on the website in the training videos, right? You want to duplicate yourself into your channel. So if you're doing all the training and you're becoming a DewPoint expert and the people in your first point aren't, that's pointless, right? You need to duplicate yourself, that activity. You need to lead from the front. You need to be the example to the people on your first point so that they can duplicate that behavior, and your second point then gets duplicated from the first point. That is going to be exceptional growth for you guys. National conferences. This is the highlight of the calendar. It's a once-a-year thing. We are busy at the moment planning the annual conference for next year. There is limited seating available. It is going to be an awesome event. So this afternoon, you might decide to watch the rugby on your own. But if you watch the rugby with 20 of your best friends, isn't it way more exciting, even if you lose? The annual conference is the same thing. You're going to have 500 individuals that all have the same purpose and the same goal in mind. The energy and the passion is contagious in an environment like that. You need to bring new people to this conference. They will be blown away by what is happening. It is an event where we talk about all the achievers, right? Recognition is extremely important. So we do recognition at the events. The people that have reached rank 9, that are going to be going away on that holiday, we recognize them at this event. We talk about all the new developments. So when the tickets become available in a couple of months' time, you need to grab them quickly because it's a limited event, right? Limited seating available. Next question. Are you ready? Name 3 other DewPoint XP activities that encompass the 3 core behaviors of successful wealth engineers. So it's name 3 other DewPoint XP activities. Less than half. Less than half. You're all going to have arguments afterwards. Guys, it's home meetings, intro presentations, and development seminars, right? Those are the key functions that we do at head office that lead to all that personal activity. So you need to be focused around those functions, right? Home meetings, intro presentations, dev seminars. That's the basis for you guys to engage with DewPoint all the time. On to the next core behavior, quality. There's Brendan and Rob staring off at each other. Okay, so quality, and this is just a single slide on quality. And I talk about it at all the intro presentations, because the moment people join DewPoint and become new wealth engineers, like I said before, the imagination starts running wild and you're thinking of mass sign-up. How am I going to get 10,000 people involved in my business in the next few months, right? And that goes against quality. If you want to build longevity in your channel, because people can cancel their products. Your channel can shrink, by the way, right? It can shrink. So if you've got poor quality individuals being put into your channel will start going backwards. If you do mass sign-ups, you have got zero control over the quality of individual that you're putting into your channel. And odds are, you can add the 10,000 union members in 1 month, you're going to have 9,550 that cancel within the first month. That's how it's going to happen. We've seen it happen. So quality is so important when you're doing that personal activity. And it can be a sensitive subject too, right? Everyone in South Africa wants to make money. Who does not want to make more money, right? So if you speak to people about the DewPoint opportunity, odds are everyone is going to be interested. But DewPoint is not everything to everyone. It can't be. We've been very specific in the target market that we want to address. We want salary earners that are able to come out and start a part-time business and start adding additional income to what they're already earning every month. It's really the only way to start getting rid of that debt, to become financially free. So when you decide to engage with people, you need to be fairly aware of who you're engaging with. Because if you've got a long-term vision of, let's say, 10 years, the people that you add onto your first point are going to be around for the next 10 years potentially. You need to like them, first of all. You're going to be working with them. You should be engaging with the people on your first point every week. So can you handle this person once a week for the next 10 years? Right? Are they of the caliber that you can work with? So typically when we say quality, we say look at your peers, people that you can relate to. You don't want to be adding people that don't have transport, that are going to be a burden to you. If your entire first point says, please come pick me up on Saturday morning so we can all go to the dev seminar, that is going to drain your energy very quickly. If you're trying to teach your entire first point how to use the internet, that is going to drain your resources. This business is part-time already. We don't want you out there wasting your time, picking up people, dropping people off, teaching them how to use the internet. It is going to be very draining on yourselves. So when I talk about quality, I talk about being very specific about the people that you add into your first point. Right? It's going to translate into your entire channel. People have a habit of always what we call selling down. Right? It's a sales term. You sell down. You're more confident when you're selling down to somebody. It's a lot harder to sell up. We've got an XP Quest that rewards you if you're able to get your boss to join DewPoint. Can you go tell your boss, I've got a business opportunity for you? Can you do that? Can you see why that's difficult? Can you see the psychology in that and why it's difficult? And why people always seem to want to sell down? Because they're able to have more confidence when they're doing that. So I'm challenging you, do not sell down. Sell across to your peers and upwards. It is going to make for a good quality channel for yourselves. Because if everyone is selling down, if everyone in your first point are people below you in terms of education, status, what they're earning, they're going to go do the same thing. By the time you're at your second point, you're just going to have uneducated, unemployed people without any resources on your third point. And then you're going to start getting return debit orders. And then your channel is going to start shrinking. And you're going to wonder why. So guys, quality is extremely important. You need to be very mindful of who you're adding into your first point and how that's going to translate into your channel. So remember that. Do not sell down. Say it. Do not sell down. There we go. All right. Are there any points I missed here? Yeah, and as I said, it makes for better teams, guys. In the intro presentation, I talk about these channels as teams that you collaborate with. It's a team of individuals, right? A team is always going to be more successful than a single individual. When you're able to work together with your peers, you are going to be way more successful and happier going forward. Growth. So really what happens is with all that personal activity and when you're very attentive to the quality, you are going to see great positive growth. The root of all growth is that personal activity and quality. When you address those two properly, the growth will happen. This business's success rests on growth, right? And when we talk about growth, we talk about developing more than just your first point and beyond that. And when we talk about quality, it's really about leading by example. If you lead by example and you add quality people into your first point, that's going to replicate into your channel. So the growth is going to be awesome into your channel. You're going to have the longevity you need. You're not going to have all these return debit orders at the end of the month. And if you haven't realized, you get penalized for return debit orders. There's a little thing on your dashboard called BPQ. That is related to how many return debit orders we're receiving from you. That is administration for us, and we will penalize you for that. So you don't want it. When you stop with regards to personal activity, growth will stop. So if you are expecting your first pointers to do all the building for you, and you start to sit back and do nothing, your entire channel will stop growing. We see it happening. You have to be persistent and consistent. You need to lead from the front. Be the example that you want your first point to be. Your influence is going to be felt throughout the channel, right? So when you address all the other aspects we spoke of, I promise you the growth will happen on its own. So you don't need to worry too much about the growth. If you're looking at the quality and you're engaging on a weekly basis, the growth will happen. And it comes back to the 3+2 formula. That 3+2 formula that we always profess is only an example, right? We've shown you, you come to Tell All Tuesday, you will see individuals that are outperforming 3+2. You can push beyond 3+2, but the 3+2 is a growth formula. And it requires the duplication into your channel. 3+2 is not just your activity. Your whole channel needs to be doing 3+2 for you to get to that goal, right? So that's important. It also caters to immediate qualification. The 3 in the first month is you becoming qualified. That's what the 3 is. If you don't have 3 Dew Point wealth engineers in your first point, you're not qualified, right? So some of you have set debit orders to the end of the month, right at the end of the month. The problem with the dashboard at the moment is it sees you not having a product until your product's paid at the end of the month. So the problem you have, a lot of you, is that you get onto the dashboard and the system thinks you are unqualified because you haven't paid for your product yet. There are a lot of wealth engineers who set their product payment to the beginning of the month. So immediately their dashboard lights up because they've become qualified. So if that is a problem for you, change your debit order to the first of the month. Your dashboard will make a lot more sense if you do that, right? The 3 plus 2, the 3 is get qualified first and then start adding the 2 additional people every consecutive month. I love this slide. The consistency and persistency with regards to growth. Michael Jordan, we all know him, greatest basketball player that has ever lived. He's missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. Isn't that awesome? Lost almost 300 games. He most certainly did not ever give up, right? I think he made 2 comebacks. He retired and came back, retired and came back. But he never gave up. And I'm sure he reached all the goals he ever set for himself. And this speaks again to persistency, consistency, and having a long-term vision about this business. Your entire mindset, the paradigm changes when you have a long-term goal. Remember my favorite slide in the intro presentation? The ballerina with the one pretty foot and the one horrible-looking foot? For her to have become a professional dancer, she had to have a long-term vision. And when you have that, your mindset changes. And after 3 months, when you had your entire family say no to you, your friends tell you you're involved in some scheme, does that cause you to give up or do you persist? When you have a long-term vision, you persist. Because you're not looking over here, you're looking into the distance. Right? And that's all that consistency and persistency is about. So don't forget that goal this afternoon if you don't have one. Duplication. Again, we're repeating what we've discussed most of the morning. But the duplication happens within the growth. If you're leading from the front, if you're being the example that you want your first pointers to be, that duplication, good duplication will happen. Bad duplication can also happen. Unless you don't do anything, then no duplication happens. But bad duplication can happen. Like I said, if you start adding poor quality people into your business, it's going to duplicate into the other points. And then you're just going to have a poor quality channel, going to get lots of return debit orders, and you're not going to be anywhere in a few months' time. Focus on those first 2 points. We pay you 55 Rand for a reason on first 2 points. It's because that's where you have the most influence, and we want you to have the most influence there. Those aren't people that you added anonymously through the 5,000 people you SMS'd. Your first point are people that you engaged with personally. Remember, it's the people you decided, yes, I want to see your face for the next 10 years every week. That's going to duplicate into your channel. Lead by example. So keep them active. Motivate them. You might discover all these leadership skills you never thought you had. Right? You need to be this leader. It's like having a gym partner. I decided to go back to gym for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I arrived there with no goal. I arrived there without a gym partner. I stood around like a lost fart for 10 minutes. I didn't know what to do. I looked at all the machines, stood around, did some stretches, did half a super circuit and went home. It was absolutely pointless, right? So if you go with a team, that wouldn't have happened. If I had a gym partner, those mornings when you don't feel like going, that's when your lead wealth engineer says to you, come to Dev Seminar, come to the intro presentation. How much of your list did you get through today, right? It's there as a motivating factor. It's about collaborating. And that will be duplicated into the rest of your channel, which is what you want. Are you ready for the next question? We need to do better. Brendan's going to be watching this later. What does the growth formula 3 plus 2 actually mean? Okay, this is a long one. What does it mean? Take your time, guys. Read the answers again. 50%, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a pass, right? It's a pass. Okay, the answers are really long. When we set this out, I said to Brendan, geez, could your answer not be any longer? It's the longest answer. It's 3 people on your first point in the first month, and that qualifies you to earn. And then an additional 2 people, only once a month, every consecutive month thereafter, on your first point. Right? And for that growth, that needs to be duplicated throughout your channel. So you need to make sure that the people you're adding are doing the same thing. Okay, I'm sure Brendan will talk to you afterwards. Guys, that's the end of the dev seminar. That's it. We're done. As wealth engineers, I hope you all have merchandise. So we're looking at new merchandise all the time, right? Be proud of the business that you're associated with. We're proud of our wealth engineers. We love you guys. Your family. We're happy to see you for the next 20 years every week, right? Business cards. If you don't have business cards, you need to order business cards, guys. Remember, treat it as a business meeting. This is not a hobby. If you don't have business cards, go onto the website where all the videos are. There's a business card order form. You fill it out, you pay the 625 Rand, we will have business cards ready for you in a couple of weeks. You need to get business cards, guys. The next dev seminar is around the products. 2 weeks' time, on the 2nd of July. Brendan's away again. You'll be with me. We're going to talk about the DewPoint products. You guys need to be experts on the products. You need to be able to answer all the questions. But remember, you don't give advice on any financial products. You're not allowed to. You only give the factual information when people ask about the products. So we're going to be addressing the products. If you haven't been to a dev seminar on the products, you have to come to the dev seminar. If you watch Brendan's presentation on the past products dev seminar, you'll be blown away with all the facts and all the positive benefits that each of the products. We didn't just throw 3 products together for the fun of it. They are actually class-leading products, each one of them. So make sure that you are here next week or in 2 weeks' time if you haven't seen that. Great, thank you guys. Any further questions? Chat to me outside. Thank you.